Okay, guys, Dr. Sean here back. We're with our mailbag once again. We are out of town this week, so you get my lovely white background. Not quite the cool bookshelves and the Elvis memorabilia, I know, but it should be fun for you. So here's our thing. We were asked this week, what is wrong? I always kind of like to go through this. A young lady came into us through Facebook, and she was asking us a question. She's got a question about her children, who were both born C-section. And she's got a 6-year-old now who started having migraines around the age of 3. He's seen several doctors locally. He's been to Chicago to see doctors as well. They immediately want to medicate him, which is understandable. And they said that, they would try different routes and so on. It's interesting. She's curious. She's saying, is there a possibility that this could be a result from a C-section? Okay, we go back to the idea of possible and probable. Is it possible? 100% yes. Absolutely possible. Probable? Don't know. I would think you would have seen other problems earlier in life. But birthing trauma is very, very common with C-sections. And what's interesting about a C-section is when you look at cerebral palsy, for example, there are a lot of studies out there that show that C-sections and the incidence of cerebral palsy kind of go hand in hand a little bit sometimes. Now, it's not saying it's the only cause of it, but we do know that trauma to the spinal cord, especially at the brainstem level, can be catastrophic early in life. And so it's one of those things that I don't think it's super common, but it could happen. Now, in this young lady's case, she's got a little boy. He's 6 years old now, and he's suffering from headaches. So what do you do with this? He's still having them apparently from the looks of it. And what do you do? Well, the first thing I would do is you have to find the cause. You have to find the cause. And you do that by examining. We see this all the time. I can't think of a headache or a type of headache I've not seen in my practice over the years. And we do very, very well with them. Now, how we do it, 24-hour UA. It's the number one thing to do. You run a urine test to see what the body's holding on to and what it's throwing away. The reason we do this is because headaches are different. They get all lumped in as, oh, it's a migraine. Everything's a migraine. Well, that's not the case. A migraine is temporal only and only one side. It won't be both sides at the same time. It won't be under the skull and crawl forward. It won't be behind the eye and spread over the top, or on the top and spread down. Those are all different types of headaches. And there are many of them. You've got cluster headaches and migraine headaches and tension headaches. There are several of these that are out there. So knowing what you're dealing with makes a big, big difference. So in a small child like this, it'd be very interesting to say, okay, he's got a chronic headache that's recurring, but where does it start? And that's where you start looking. Now, once you've figured out where it starts, that will kind of tell you what to do. The urine test tells me, is the body holding on to something? Is it throwing it away? Are you using the food that you're putting in? Because in my experience with headaches, all of them, and I've never seen one yet that wasn't a tumor or a severe injury to the head. If you rule those pathologies out, all of them have some link to your blood sugar and how the body's able to stabilize that. And so you look there first, and that's why the urine is so important. Now, once you get this all figured out, you change the diet a little bit, adjust, and she asked about prevention, and are there things that you could do in a preventive type manner? Absolutely. You should be adjusting your little child safe. There's many, many styles that we do with children, and I see babies, everything all the time. So you adjust the child. Now, once you're doing that, then you balance that diet out and you bring in other therapies as needed to offer stability to that area. If it is mechanical trauma that was brought on by a C-section years earlier, that means the muscles themselves have been traumatized and they've shut down. So we have techniques that we do in our practice that are very specific to us to rebalance those muscles and get them firing again, so they'll offer stability. The headache should go away rapidly. I'm thinking in this little child's case, 2 weeks, maybe 14 days, somewhere in there. You should see a noticeable change. And kids are fun to see, and I love seeing them in my practice because kids, they're going to call you out. You either get results with a child, they're like, it's not working. There's none of this, well, I think it's better, or it might be better. They are 100% going to call you out. Now, my last thing I want to address here, because she asked this, she said, well, we saw a neurologist, and the neurologist basically called her out and said, look, you're an incompetent mother because you won't drug your child, and if you take them to see anybody else, or a chiropractor or something like that to try to help with their headaches, you could kill your child. It's not only an uneducated bit of advice to her. It's a foolish bit of advice to her. And it comes from someone, in my opinion, I don't know who the neurologist was, it comes from someone who lacks education, who lacks a background in what they're trying to help you with or discuss. It's okay to discuss healthcare. It's okay to share your opinions with somebody. But if you've had no experience with something, then you shouldn't express that opinion. And I will guarantee this neurologist does not know me. I also know that one of my best friends in town as a physician is a neurologist. He is very well known throughout the entire Central Illinois community, and he's a brilliant man, and I work with him a lot. So it's not their field that's bad. You just got a bad apple. And my rule of thumb is, hey, someone's got to graduate last. You just never know who that is. So hopefully that helps you out, guys. I will gladly help your little boy out and get rid of his headaches for him.